Okay, the two are pretty closely linked, but the conscious mind is where you're triggering those beta rhythms I was talking about. So when the eyes are opened, if you're hooked up to an electroencephalograph machine, you know, with the wires from the outside of the head, you're triggering a lot of beta rhythms. With the eyes closed and starting to maybe meditate or going into a hypnotic state, you'll start to slow, those rhythms will start to slow down around about 7 to 14 cycles per second. So it can be shown up with electronic, you know, gadgetry, the difference between being conscious and being unconscious. But remember, with hypnosis, you're not unconscious. You're not fully out to it at all. Otherwise, you wouldn't hear what the hypnotist is saying. But the difference is, look, the subconscious mind is non-critical. So if I plant a suggestion in the subconscious mind that the person wants me to, they want to stop smoking or they want to improve their motivation or become more successful, then their mind is not critical of that statement, of that phrase, of that suggestion. But if I say it to somebody and they're fully awake and they're arguing with me at the same time, they won't receive, they're not receptive. Their mind is more critical. So hypnosis has been described as an uncritical state of mind. And when a person comes to me as a patient or as a client, they're already putting themselves in my hands. They want to be uncritical. And so there is such a thing as conversational hypnosis as well, which I use a lot. Coming back to the different types of hypnosis, your question before. So the moment a person enters my practice here, I'm talking to them and starting to change some of their behaviour patterns before they even sit down. And they're not unconscious, but I'm dealing with their unconscious mind in a subtle kind of way, and that's called conversational hypnosis. There's many books on it, many textbooks. Read all those books and start to practice. Find a subject who's going to let you practice on them. In my case, it was kids at school that didn't allow me to practice on them, but eventually did. I was 12. And then in my case, the teachers. I was hypnotising teachers at my school, at my primary school even. And that was a lot of fun. So my practice and my development was very, you know, random. But I did read a lot after. After I started to realise this was something I could do, I started to read about it. And there I was, as a 13, 14-year-old kid reading about what I was doing 2 years earlier at school and trying to work out what I was doing. So in my case it was very, very random, but these days you can go to various schools and learn hypnosis. The medical profession, I don't know whether they'd call it that, but the alpha state is being talked about. There's a lot of books written on that subject now, but no one knew anything about this alpha state as far as being able to teach it to people until I brought it to Australia in the early 70s from California. And it is a state of mind. So, you know, it's a state, the beta state, the theta, the delta. These are all measurable when you have Zen Buddhists who may be able to put themselves in an icy grave and not, their heart slows right down. They're usually in the theta or delta rhythms. But they have control over that. This is a Zen Buddhist monk who might have been doing this for, you know, 30 or 40 years. Deep state of meditation where they don't feel pain or they slow their heart rate right down, theta and delta. So it is a state of mind, but I don't know whether the medical profession actually calls it that. But it is measurable with the electroencephalograph machines. Okay, the common denominators that run through starting a project or being successful with anything at all. And this is just a formula that I came up with a long time ago, in the early 70s, and I've been teaching it. It simplifies it, and that's the whole thing. Formulas need to be simple, techniques need to be simple to work. So if you equate them to the alpha, beta, theta, delta, you could say this, that the beta state is when your eyes open and you're conscious, you're driving your car and all of those sort of things. Now, let's go to the other end of the scale, the delta. Delta is where you get ideas from. Now, Einstein said his ideas came from he doesn't know where. And at one time he said it was a gift from God. That's what Einstein said. So we know that ideas just pop into your head. And you could equate that to the delta, because you're kind of, well, the delta is that unconscious state, very deep meditation or unconscious, and those ideas just come. So that you could equate to the delta. So you get an idea. You need an idea if you're going to pursue a new project. The idea is first. The next stage is to get a little bit excited about that idea. And a lot of people don't do that. They just have the idea. Everybody gets ideas, but not everyone acts on them because they don't do anything, they don't feel anything about it. So the feeling part of it, getting excited about it, getting a desire to implement that idea, let's equate that to the theta, where your brain rhythm's a little bit faster. And after you get excited about the idea, most people then leave it. They think, oh, wouldn't it be a great idea to do this? But they don't do any more. So my formula says, okay, what's the next step? The next step is to actually sit down and do a plan and think about the idea. Not just be excited about it anymore, but think about it. Actually put it on paper. How can I do this? And that's equivalent to the, where are we? The delta was the desire, the theta, rather the idea. The theta was the desire, and now the alpha is the thinking. So you're starting to think about what that idea will do. And then the fourth step, after we think about the idea and actually put it on paper, which most people still don't do, very few people do, is to actually do it. That's the action. So you first get the idea, then you get excited about it, then you do a plan to implement it on paper. People don't like picking up pen to paper. It's too easy just to walk around saying, oh, I've got a great idea, I'm excited about it, but what have you done about it? Oh, just put it on the shelf for the moment, you know. And the final step is the hardest one of all. Only 1 in 20 people does this, and that's action. Do something. Actually do it. And that's the beta. Rapid is a modern word, rapid induction. I was using elements of, as I said, instant induction, instant hypnosis, rapid induction, all of these techniques way before they had names. And it just means being able to build that rapport with someone or get them in that receptive mood as quickly as possible. Now, rapid, instant, the same thing, gets rid of all the problems of the person having fears. It overcomes all the dramas of them wanting to, worry about it for 10 minutes. And sometimes you can sneak a suggestion into somebody's mind before they're ready for it, before they're even ready to be hypnotised. And that's probably the best time because they're not putting up the blocks. So in my practice, I have to get results very quickly with people. I don't want them to be successful days or weeks or months after. I want them to be successful walking out of my session. And that's what happens. For the most part, they get their instant results. So I'm using instant hypnosis. I'm using the fastest possible route to their subconscious mind. And I'm getting them to be receptive as quickly as I possibly can. And it's just the way I do it. It's just an experience thing. I can't describe how I do it because I have a unique approach to all of this. But it's getting that suggestion in without them putting cards up and trying to sift it or filter it. Some people, even though they come to you for help, can't get themselves in a receptive mood. You can't wait 2 hours for them to become open to the suggestion. Sometimes you have to sneak it in.